Hey, Joe, I wanted to ask you, Teddy Bridgewater's been labeled over the years as more of a game manager and a game changer. And Phillip Rivers was talking about that the other day, that he almost took negative connotations for that statement of what a game manager is. What are your thoughts on what that is, and where do you see Teddy among
that? I really don't fully understand the concept of a game manager. To me, if you're a game manager, you'd be a guy that, the quarterback, they're not asking you to do too much. You're just trying to not lose the game and, just trying to just be efficient with the football, but, trying to have a great run game. Hopefully you play great in defense and try to get out of the game. And so for anybody to label Teddy Bridgewater as a game manager, I think that couldn't be anything further from the truth. Teddy's going to win his football games. You look at the last 2 weeks, we were down 3 touchdowns this past week. And, nobody flinched. Teddy brings you back. We're down a score. So to say a game manager, Teddy's going to win his football games. And, I'm excited to have him as our quarterback.
Now let's go to Miles for the next question, and then Mike Solarte.
Hey, Joe. How much stress does the Chargers defensive front just put on you as a play caller and as an offense, especially considering how they move all those guys around?
Yeah, I think this is a tremendous challenge for us this week. I think, Coach Bradley, the Chargers defense as a whole is, it's a very sound defense, and they do a great job at just affecting the quarterback. And, so we have to know where all their guys are at any given times. When you have 2 elite pass rushers on the outside, you got guys in the front that can push the pockets, it's going to be a great challenge. But yeah, so it definitely keeps you up.
Hey, Coach, Mike Solarte, Spectrum News 1. Hang on a second on you.
Poker player, huh?
There, yeah, a little bit, yes. As you look ahead to this weekend, obviously, Christian being out, Mike being in, you're not going to ask Mike to do more than what he does. So does this kind of maybe put a little more emphasis on the front five, on that offensive line, and everybody making sure that they're where they need to be and improving their play to give Mike a chance and to even give Teddy a chance?
Yeah, I think all across the board, coaches and players, we all have to be better. But to sit there and say, hey, I need you guys to step it up more because of an injury. I feel confident in our 11 guys. I feel confident in our entire offense. And I told Mike Davis, I just need Mike Davis to be Mike Davis, and his good is good enough. And so if the offense line, takes care of what they can control and Mike Davis does what he can do, I think we'll have a great chance to win. I don't need anybody to sit in there thinking they have to do anything more than, their good is good enough.
Go to Jonathan Alexander and then Phil Orban. Jonathan, you need to unmute yourself.
Hey, Joe. Hope you're doing well, man.
Doing well. How you doing, bud?
Good. I'm wondering, what do you think about Mike Davis as a person? And I guess what have your conversations been like leading up to this particular game?
So Mike Davis, when I first took this job, we evaluated Mike Davis and, we're extremely high on him, and obviously you have that, you go through the virtual off season, you have a vision for a player, and then you finally get an opportunity to get hands-on and work with him. And, I know there was only so much you guys were allowed to, come out of camp, but Mike Davis had that, he came to work every single day. He came in shape, he came ready to go. Offense, in the pass game and the run game, you saw him on special teams. And so I learned so much about Mike Davis by just how he approached every single day. He didn't sit there and say, hey, you know what, Christian McCaffrey's our starting running back. I might not get a carry. He was like, look, my time's going to come and I'm going to be ready. And so, you haven't seen any difference in Mike Davis this week. He's been consistent, and that's all we've asked him to do. And so I'm excited for him to be able to do what he does best, and that's play football. And you guys got to see a little bit of that last week. And, I have no doubt that he's going to expand on that role.
Hey, Joe, Phil Orban from Channel 9. You had another really long drive last week, same as in week 1. I think it was 13 plays, 90-plus yards, 7.5 minutes. A drive like that, 2 questions. What's going right? And I'm sure you would love the shot play, 80-yard touch, 75-yard touchdown like in week 1. But how different are those long kind of grinding drives for you as you're calling the game, and how valuable are they for the team?
Well, I think a lot of it, at the end of the day, a scoring drive, we'll take a scoring drive, 2 play, 1 play, 19 plays, 17 plays. I'll take it. but a lot of it is just like kind of the flow of the game. I think it's critical to stay ahead on first and second down. And, we were able to, in some of those long drives this past week, we were able to overcome some negative plays. And so it shows you the type of offense that we have and that we can be. But I think, look, it obviously it'll wear a defense. When you're out on the field for a while, it gives our defense a break. I think it just gives you a lot of confidence. But our offense is prepared. If we have to go 15 plays, we have to do it, and we'll be ready to go.
Let's go to Jason Huber and then Elena.
Hey Joe, Jason with WFNZ. With Curtis Samuel, what's kind of been, with using him so far, do you want to get him more involved in the offense? And I know during the summer, you guys mentioned that he could also, he could play running back. Is that something where maybe at times you could use him now, especially during McCaffrey's absence?
Right. Look, coming away from the first two games, I have to use Curtis more as a receiver. I got to get the ball to him more, and so that was something that, I walked away, that was some of my notes from the last two games. He's, with his speed on the field, with him being able to push the ball deep, I have to utilize Curtis more in the pass game. And so he's a wide receiver. I feel great about the running backs in our room. I want Curtis to focus on what Curtis does best right now. And let's get him going in the pass game.
Joe, just kind of going off that, I wanted to ask you, coming off week one, you said those couple 3-and-out drives were what you were thinking about after the game. Outside of Curtis, what else were you kind of after this past weekend? Like, what kind of stuck with these things that you wanted to work on, or things that you wish had gone differently?
Well, I mean, anytime you turn the ball over in a football game, you don't give yourself an opportunity to win, much less when you turn the ball over 4 times. And so, it's easy to focus on the turnovers as the simple route, and you clean those up and you have an opportunity to win. But we were behind the chains in a couple first and second downs, and that's not a recipe for success. But at the end of the day, don't turn the ball over, and we're going to have an opportunity to win football games.
Go to Joe Person and then Skylar.
Hey, Joe, I know there's only so many balls to go around, or a ball to go around. So you want to get Curtis more involved. Where do you come down on the tight ends who have not been super involved the first 2 weeks?
Joe, I think every game is going to be different. I think we can't go into the mindset of, hey, this game I have to get this guy the ball 4 times, this guy the ball 4 times, because as we know, it never fully. You can scheme a play up, you can game plan and think you're going to get this look, and on that play you didn't actually get it. We're expecting to go to Ian Thomas and it goes to Robbie Anderson. So I think week to week, game to game, it's going to kind of we just got to take what the defense gives us. And so I think the guys have an understanding that, hey, this week I might have an opportunity for 8 catches for 100 yards, and the next week, depending on what the defense does, hey, if they focus more on me, another guy has an opportunity to get 100 yards, or another guy has an opportunity to get 6 catches. So we just tell our guys, man, come ready to work, stay ready. And, when your opportunity presents itself, have to make a play. And so from a tight ends, from a receiver, they're out there. We're not sitting there saying, hey, this guy has to get this many catches and touches from that standpoint.
Just on the tight ends, real quick follow-up. Are you liking what you're getting out of them at practice and kind of their skill set?
Yes, I've said it all along. I really like our tight end room. I think some of the defenses that we faced, the first 2 weeks, we were able to utilize, some of the guys and some of our receivers in the pass game. And so, I don't think it's a product of what they're not doing as much as it's a product of taking what the defense is giving us. And so we're going to continue to do so. And, if this is a week where, we have the opportunity to get the tight ends the ball a lot, I'm sure Teddy will take advantage of that if that be the case.
Hey, Joe, Scott Kellum, Sports Illustrated. Anytime you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey go down, it could completely change a play caller's mindset, especially in a game. But with Mike Davis, I mean, he kind of brings that versatility just like Christian does, being able to catch the ball in the backfield. So for you, does it really change your game plan and what you want to call in a game, since he's pretty much, a really versatile player?
Yeah, no, that was the perk of, when we first saw Mike Davis, seeing him be able to do a lot of different things, and especially getting with him in training camp and knowing, what he does well in the run game and the pass game. So, I'm not sure if it was able to be noticed, but when Christian went down, we had full faith in running our offense and knowing that Mike would just come in and step in and do what he does best. And so, now knowing going into a week that he's your starting running back, there might be some subtle changes from that standpoint, fitting it around Mike Davis. But outside of that, there's really not much that we don't feel like he can do.
Let's go to Miles and then David.
Thanks, Preston. Joe, I want to ask you about Robbie Anderson. Do you feel like there may have been, I guess, a perception in Robbie Anderson that he doesn't necessarily have the full ability to run the whole route tree? And how do you think he has done, I guess, combating that in the first 2 games?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to, the game manager. It's sometimes people get labeled things, but we don't know who's actually labeling them, and if you turn on the tape and you watch Robbie Anderson, and I kind of think I brought it up last week, you watch Robbie, there's not a route he doesn't run. And so, there's, when I go into it, sometimes it's hard, trying to not get him the ball, because he can do a little bit of everything. And that's the value in our wide receiver room, is that we have a lot of guys that can do a little bit of everything. And, so I don't think Robbie Anderson is whatever he might be perceived. And I think he's showcasing that right now. And I expect him to continue to build on it.
Yeah, Joe, I wanted to ask you, why does a guy like Mike Davis spend all these years primarily as a backup, and what separates him from an elite back like McCaffrey?
I can't answer that question. All I can speak of is, the Mike Davis that I've been with for the last month and a half, and everything that I've seen, I've been impressed with and pleased with, and so I'm not sure exactly what his past has been in terms of how it's been. In the systems that he's been a part of, but I'm excited to see him on Sunday.
All right, let's go to Phil and then Elena, and then we can finish with Joe.
Hey, Joe, I'm wondering, with having Mike in there instead of Christian, I'm wondering the depth behind him, and as much as Christian was used, if you're planning on using those backup running backs more, and then specifically what Trenton and maybe even Reggie would offer.
Yeah, I think the value of the running back room, with Trenton and, obviously having Reggie on the practice squad and having Arma, you saw Arma went in the game, was able to do things. And so, we feel confident that whatever running backs in there, I don't think our play calls need to change. And so, I think that's the vision that we have for the running back position. Our guys kind of fit that. And so I'm excited to see whoever has the ball in their hands, they're going to be able to do things with it.
Joe, I was wondering, we've talked to Matt a little bit about this, but I was wondering from your perspective, he said that part of why PJ was the backup last week was a little more scheme based. And I was wondering for you, when you're deciding, who's going to be backup quarterback each week, are you going like on a week to week evaluation process, or is it more scheme based from your perspective? Just how is that process going for you?
Yeah, look, I think it's a week to week thing, but I think it's making both of them better quarterbacks. It's the competitiveness. They're both approaching it as they're going to be the starters. And so I think it's at the end of the day, regardless of who is considered the backup or who's considered active, I think it's just elevating both of their games. And so, when you come out to practice, both of them competing every single day, and I think it's elevating our football team, it's elevating our room. And so I think it's a week to week, and we'll kind of go from there.
Joe, when you talk about getting Curtis more involved, like what does he bring you that the other guys don't? Like, why do you want to get him more involved? And then related, last year there was a lot of talk about he was open all season and Kyle Allen couldn't get him the ball. I'm asking you to assess Kyle Allen, but when you watch that 19 tape of Curtis, what did you see?
Well, the best thing about Curtis is when the ball is in his hands, great things happen. And so whether it's him running a go route, 40 yards down the field, or him catching a route underneath and taking it the distance, he has the opportunity when the ball's in his hands. And so, that's one of the things that kind of looking into it, in the passing game, just got to get Curtis involved more. And, and that's nothing that Curtis isn't doing. And it's not at anything that Robbie and DJ is doing more so than him. It's just a matter of knowing that when the ball's in his hand, good things happen, and I have to continue to put more of an emphasis on that.
In the 19 tape?
Look, in the 19 tape, you saw a guy that, can stretch the field and make plays down the field. And, I think sometimes you look strictly off of production and it can cloud a view, but, you saw a wide receiver and a guy that, and I think he's taken that approach and is built on it in training camp. And I just look forward to kind of utilizing him and getting him more in that role.